hey, listen, I was wrong. But I'm happy about it. So stick around and let's talk about it. Hey, for several months on this channel, we've been talking about the out-of-control lumber prices, and I've done numerous videos talking about lumber pricing and where it was headed, and I predicted that we would see high lumber prices throughout the remaining of the year. Now, at the time, conditions were right for us to continue to see high lumber prices and it extending through the end of the year, possibly even the next year, with an economy that was doing pretty good and a housing market that is just exploding right now, fueling the demand for lumber. The conditions were set that we were just gonna not get any relief for quite some time. But hey, I was wrong, and I'm happy about that because we're starting to see lumber prices fall dramatically. There's been a huge price correction in the lumber market, and I'm gonna show you all about that when we jump on the computer. So let's go take a look. All right, so here we're going to take a look at a chart that shows us current pricing and historical pricing on lumber. Now, if you haven't seen any of my previous videos, understand that we're talking about construction grade lumber here. The benchmark is construction grade SPF lumber, so like your 2x4s, 2x6s that you'd find at Lowe's or Home Depot. And so historically, lumber had traded, between $300 and $400 over here, between $300 and $400, and that's for 1,000 board feet. Okay, so that's like a bundle of lumber. Okay, and so historically, that's where it had remained. But then in late 2020, late last year in the fall, we started seeing these huge spikes, and it just started climbing and climbing and climbing. And then it just kept going this year too, throughout the spring. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Let's get back over there. So here we are. Here we are, and this is what we've been experiencing all spring, just this huge growth. And right here's $1,000 mark, okay? So we far exceeded that. And then on May 7th, it topped out at, $1,600, a little over $1,600. And these are the closing prices. So at the end of the trading day, whatever the price settled at, that's what's recorded here. And so these lumber prices have just been astronomical, and we've been feeling it. Everybody's been feeling it. And there's been speculation as to why, why lumber went to these crazy prices that they did. There's talk about shortages, but yet a lot of us didn't really see any shortages. So my video that I released, about a month or so ago was talking about the traders. And if you haven't seen that one, I'll put it up in the card so you can find that video. But very interesting. There was an interview with a trader, and he talked about it being his job to buy lumber low and sell it at high prices. And so if you missed some of those previous videos, understand that lumber is purchased, and the prices are negotiated between the buyer and the lumber mills, and they call them future prices because they decide what they're going to pay for that lumber when it's delivered. And this is before the lumber is even cut down as a tree out in the forest. Okay, so they determine what the price is going to be. Then they send the lumberjack out into the woods. He cuts the tree. It gets chopped up. It gets transported. It gets taken to the lumber mill. It gets milled up. It gets shipped from there to various distribution centers, and it finally ends up at the lumber yard about 2 months later. Okay, and so then you see the price, the retail price of what that lumber cost 2 months prior. And so what we're seeing now is, the lumber prices today that we're seeing at our local store, and I'll just pull it up here real quick. My local store has a 2x4 still at $8.37, which is the highest it's been in my local area. 2x6s by 8 is $15.42. That's the highest it's been in my area. And so what we're doing, we're seeing those prices based on what was going on, 6 to 8 weeks ago, which is over here in this time frame on this graph. Okay, but what has happened since May 7th is prices started dropping, and they have just dropped off the cliff, which is good for all of us. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit, which is really good for all of us. And so now we have prices down here sitting at $842 for 1,000 board feet. That is half price compared to what it was back in early May. So why hasn't the lumber prices dropped? Well, it's because there's still that 6 to 8 week window. Remember, the prices that we're seeing right now at the lumber store is based on what was going on, about a month, 4, 6 to 8 weeks ago, which is over here time frame. Now, is it going to go up? Has it reached its peak from just over a month ago? Maybe. Realistically, we're probably closer to 2 months, which means we'd still be here. I don't think the retail centers are going to push it up any higher than that, knowing what they know now, which is that prices have fallen dramatically. Now, what's that mean for prices at the lumber center? When are they going to start coming down? Well, in a couple more weeks, I would say. The trend started May 7th. This is a month and a half, getting close to 2 months now. I think we're going to start seeing, over the next couple of weeks, we're going to start seeing dramatic price drops at the lumber center. And then over the course of the next 30 days beyond that, and even 2 months, we will continue to see it drop. So if you got a DIY project or something you're working on or you want to get started on, know that in a few weeks' time, prices will be dropping, and in at least another 6 to 8 weeks, they'll at least be half price of what it is today, or it should be, pending no further disasters or economic calamity that's going to come to keep those prices high. So that's the good news. And you know what? I was wrong. I predicted that these prices would continue throughout the year. All indications were that they would. But they didn't, and a lot of it is because people like myself, people like you, a lot of DIYers, people in the industry said enough is enough, and they stopped buying lumber. Even home builders, which is the biggest consumer of lumber, they slowed down. People who are buying homes and building new homes said enough is enough. They're not paying $50,000 more for a house just because lumber is out of control. And so everything has started coming to a screeching halt and slowing down. And so all these traders that were buying and selling all these contracts, they were having a hard time selling those contracts now because prices were so high. So we kind of forced their hand, and prices have now started to drop. And hopefully they will continue to drop and normalize here in the next couple of months. It's anyone's guess what's going to happen. It's really anyone's guess exactly what happened previously. But we all have a pretty good idea. And if you missed out that video, I'll stick a link up in the card. But go make sure you go and check that out. But I'm happy to report that I was wrong. I couldn't be more happy that I was wrong. And today's future pricing is half of what it was when it peaked, which means, in the coming 6 weeks or so, 8 weeks or so, hopefully we'll see about half price that we see right now at the lumber center. Hey, before you go, I want to tell you about my other channel that I just launched that may interest you. I created a second channel because of the difficult times that we find ourselves living in these days. It's called Prepare to Survive. On that channel, we talk about how you can prepare yourselves and your families to better survive the difficult times that we are living in, and certainly the difficult times that are coming. The world has changed, and it's no longer the same place that we all grew up in. And we're going to continue to see further economic strife. We're going to continue to see civil unrest, and has been predicted recently about hyperinflation and even food shortages. I can tell you, I strongly believe it's coming. So this new channel is about helping you and teaching you how to prepare so you can increase your food supply at home, how you can store your food at home, about water storage, also about energy, solar power, and we'll even talk a little bit about medical and some other gear that you may need in order to survive a down grid or a time period where there's just no electricity. Cyber attacks are increasing, and we've seen that on our oil supply, our gasoline supply. We're seeing it in the food industry, and in all industries across the board, they're starting to experience cyber attacks. The big one is coming. I feel that we're going to be hit with a very large cyber attack that's going to take down our electrical grid, which is going to affect our water supply. It's going to affect transportation. It's going to affect a lot of things, and it could leave us all in the dark for a period of time. Are you prepared for that? Do you have enough food at home? Do you have enough water stored at home to where you and your family can survive in very difficult conditions that could potentially befall us in the very near future. Now, the woodworking garage is going to continue. I'm still going to be putting out content here, but I also invite you to join me over there and check out some of those videos and follow me and with some of the things that I've got to share and some of the things I've got to teach. Everyone, there's something for everyone. Whether you believe that difficult times are ahead or if difficult times are already behind us, there's things there for you to learn that'll better prepare you and your family. Hey, and to get you started, I'm going to go ahead and throw up a couple of videos right here for some of those new videos on the new channel, so you can go check them out over there. Hey, I appreciate you watching this video. I appreciate how you've supported this channel. And if you click on any of those videos, I'm going to see you over on the other side. Thanks for watching.